Hey everyone, Father Rick Nagel here. I am in Wadowice, Poland, at the home of the birthplace of St. John Paul II. What a great joy to be here. It's always been a dream of mine to come visit and retrace the steps of this great Pope and Saint of our time. This is where he was born and grew up. So it's a beautiful church. This is the Church of the Presentation of our Blessed Mother Mary. And of course, as we have arrived here, it's been a joy to celebrate the Mass this morning on Sunday. And I just prayed a rosary for all of you and for all the intentions that people have sent with me to Poland. This rosary actually is blessed by St. John Paul II. It has, of course, his papal crucifix from his crozier, and I've carried it with me throughout Poland, touching it to all the sacred sites. It was given to me by another great father figure of mine, Archbishop Daniel Beekline, who ordained me, and this rosary was given to him on one of the papal visits from the United States to St. John Paul II. And so I believe it's a rosary of two saints that have gone before us. So I'm very grateful for these father figures in my life, and I want to show you a little bit around so that you can share in the joy of being here with me even now today. I'm going to show you, this is the square that's outside of the church. It's really beautiful. We just had some other great famous papal cake, which is like a cream cake, delicious. And we also visited the childhood home of John Paul II. That's a yellow building there on the corner, which is right next to the church. And it's really awesome. It's the second floor where they had a flat that John Paul II lived in as a child. He was born in the bed there. And then his mother died very young there as well before they moved to Krakow. John Paul then was baptized in this church, this beautiful church, and of course received his first communion and his first reconciliation here. So I want to take you inside so that you can see the beauty of this church that he grew up in. You probably will understand why John Paul was in returned here like 5 times as a pope, because this was really his first home. Here's a picture of him outside the church at his first communion. This is just shortly after his mother passed away. This is his mother and father at their wedding, and a beautiful picture of him and his mother, him as a child. Perhaps it was at his baptism. So let's go on into the church. I'm going to be a little bit quieter because there's people praying, and I'll share with you a little bit about the beauty of this sacred place here in Poland. So you can see how beautiful John Paul would have spent a lot of time here as a boy and learned to become an altar server. I'm going to take you to the main altar, and then I'm going to take you to the 4 side chapels so you can see the places where he learned to pray and really received his faith through his parents and through the local church. So he grew up right next door to here. Earlier Mass, we were able to celebrate here. I got to read the gospel, proclaim the gospel, and sit in the papal chair that was used by John Paul when he returned here to celebrate Mass while he was Pope. Here's a relic of St. John Paul II. It is some dried blood that was exhumed from his body, and is now a relic being reverenced here in this beautiful church. And of course, John Paul II actually canonized St. Faustina, and he would have lived in the same time as her. As a young man, he was working in a quarry, a rock quarry not far from Faustina's convent, and would walk by there. While they believe that they never met, people believe that they never met, they would have lived in the same time and day and became saints together. And so he had a great devotion, of course, the devotion of divine mercy from St. Faustina, given to us from God himself. And this is a very special chapel. This is where St. John Paul II was baptized in this baptismal font. And you can see it's the Holy Family Chapel. with Mary and Joseph and Jesus, but a very special baptismal font, the font where a saint was baptized. Here is my view from Mass. I love this because it's St. John Paul II returning. It's a picture of him returning to this church and reverencing the baptismal font where he was baptized and became an adopted son of God, our Father. And so he gave great thanks when he returned to God for all of the gifts that had been given, and particularly his gift as an adopted son in baptism. Our Polish brothers and sisters have a great devotion to Our Lady of Perpetual Help. So I want to take you next to that chapel where on the outside are many, many rosaries that are hanging around the entrance of people who had prayed through Our Lady of Perpetual Help in the rosary for healing and for miracles. And all these rosaries then have been hung here in answer to prayers, thanksgiving for our Blessed Mother's intercession. And here we have Our Lady of Perpetual Help, side chapel and altar, the Blessed Sacrament. John Paul II, of course, visited here the first time after he was elected Pope in 1978. He visited in 79. And then this wonderful mural was painted as a reflection of his visit here. You can see all the children who are coming to him and families that line up to receive his blessing. So we're going to move on to the next chapel. This is my brother, Father Ernesto Reynoso, and he's traveling with me, and I'm just praying for all the people back home as well. Next, we're going to go to the St. John Paul II Chapel, which is dedicated to him, of course, and many people today have been praying through his intercession in this chapel. So we enter, you'll see some of the relics of St. John Paul II, particularly a chasuble that he wore while he was here in Mass, as well as a papal chair that he would have used while celebrating Mass here in this sacred place. Most of you probably know that his motto was Totus Tuus, meaning totally yours. Our Blessed Mother Mary, and always calling upon her intercession. And of course, we have Mary here sitting, Our Lady of Fatima at the base. He believed that when he was shot that it was Mary who redirected the bullet so that he could live and continue to serve the world. Beautiful wooden carved statue of St. John Paul II from his visit here in Wadowice. Again, many prayers answered. So rosaries and notes left here in the chapel of thanksgiving and offering up prayers through his intercession. There are many relics here in different places throughout the church. One of my favorite is as we enter into the fourth side chapel, which is dedicated to our sorrowful mother, the Apostle John and Mary Magdalene at the foot of the cross. But at the entrance here is a relic of St. Rita. And St. Rita is a favorite of mine because of my mom's name. It was named after her, and she is the patron saint of impossible causes, and our family has often prayed through her intercession for difficult things in our lives. We continue to do that yet today. And here in this side chapel are many, many other relics. Relics from everything from St. Jude to St. Therese. Beautiful relics of the saints of the church. This is called a reliquary, where many relics of the saints have been gathered to remind us of their holiness and to remind us that we're called to be saints ourselves. And so they intercede for us to become a part of the great cloud of witness. And as we continue, I want to show you one other thing as I exit out of the church, which I really love, and that is that on the side of the church, right outside of the window where John Paul II would have grown up, he had a window that looked over the church. And I'm going to take you out this side door and show you that there's a sundial and that he would have looked at. And it has an inscription that talks about how we should always be aware of the gift of time that we've been given. How precious is the gift of time that we've been given on earth ourselves. So this would have been from the view of his flat, and the window right there is where he grew up in that would have been his bedroom as a kid growing up all the way through high school. And so, such a joy to be with you here in this beautiful place of Wadowice. It's kind of in the foothill of the mountains and just a beautiful community of people. We especially love that the people are so friendly and welcoming. It's been a great day here to celebrate at the beginning of my sabbatical, but also just to be able to give God thanks and praise for a great saint of our time who influenced myself and so many others, St. John Paul II.